Hello and welcome to our fourth instructor video for the week of February 18th to the 22nd. Hopefully you're watching this on Wednesday the 18th or Thursday the 19th at the latest. And so in class this past Tuesday we talked about your electronic portfolios or e-portfolios, and your assignments this week for the online portion of class are related to that, that talk. But first, be sure to upload your instructor draft of your Project 1 memoir by 11 p.m. on Thursday night to Sakai Assignments. Make sure that you've used the comments and suggestions that your peers gave you on your workshop drafts to improve your paper, make it better, change it, revise it, edit it. Basically, like I said in class, if your peers said that they liked something, do more of it. And if they said something confused them or was not clear, then revise it, change it. And if they really liked one part, maybe think of starting your memoir with that part if you didn't start with it already. So do some revising. The instructor draft that you turn into me should be different from the workshop draft you gave to your peers. It should be more improved, changed based on the comments you got back from your peers. So, and remember to keep track of all those changes so you can show that how your writing process in your final e-portfolio. Don't forget, in addition to the instructor draft that you need to turn in, you need to write a quick review or memo. It shouldn't take you more than 15 minutes to write it, and it should go with the instructor draft. You're going to upload both documents to Sakai Assignments by Thursday at 11 p.m. The reviewer memo is basically a way for, it's a memo to me to help me understand your thinking behind your memoir, and it's for you to also practice reflecting on your writing process. So this kind of reflection was going to be really important for your final e-portfolio reflection, which I said in class will kind of be like your final exam. So I want you to get in the habit of reflecting on your writing processes, and that's why I'm giving you this reviewer memo. Also, so that I can, understand what you're trying to do in your in your memoir. Sorry. The reviewer memo is attached to the announcement I sent out with the instructions for this week's online class, and it's also attached to the directions for the Sakai assignment where you submit your instructor draft and reviewer memo. It's also in a folder in Sakai resources marked reviewer memos, so you should be able to find it. Okay, so make sure you do that. Now, that's all the assignments for for Thursday. Just make sure that you upload your instructor draft and the review memo by Thursday night at 11 p.m. Now, about those e-portfolios, I'd like you to start playing with the free website building sites that I recommended in class, including Wix.com, Weebly.com, Tumblr.com, Squarespace.com, and WordPress.com. They are all free. You do have to sign up, but it's free. My students have recommended Wix as the easiest to use, but you can choose whatever web building site you prefer. Take some time in the next day to play with each of the sites or read about them and look at examples of websites that people have built with each of those web building services, and then choose one that you like to build your e-portfolio website on. Once you've chosen one of those web building services, Wix or Weebly or Tumblr, choose a template for your e-portfolio website, and you might want to try to find a template that you feel represents you and or your major in some way. And you can always change that template later, so just pick something and begin to create or build your e-portfolio website. Choose, play with it. Choose some colors, some fonts that you feel will meet your rhetorical purpose and reach your rhetorical audiences successfully. Play with your site by maybe starting a brief introduction page, maybe add some menu tabs, maybe be sure to add a few artifacts from your memoir writing process so far. So you can upload or take a picture of like some handwritten brainstorms that you did, some lists that you did, that little card that you wrote on the first day of class. You can take a picture of that and upload it. A draft that you did, peer comments that were given to you, photos. You can take a photo of that memoir artifact you brought to class the first day. So you can just play with it, and even sounds, videos, images if you want. Just remember that if you borrow anything from the internet, you have to, that somebody else did, you have to cite it somewhere, even photos and videos. So keep track of the sources that you're borrowing things from if you decide to do that. So basically, this is your first attempt at your ePortfolio website. It's just a draft, so know that you'll be changing things later as the semester progresses. Now's the time to just have fun, play with it, get to know how the functions of the web building service work, play with the templates, just get a feel for the service, a feel for the website building service that you choose. And then finally, publish a very, very rough draft of your ePortfolio website. It's going to be very basic. It's not going to look like the ones that we looked at in class, because those were really worked on for a long time. So just a draft with a few things on it, and publish that URL by 11 p.m. on Friday night, and then post the URL for this draft ePortfolio website to your group's forum conversation, so that they can click on that URL and then go visit your ePortfolio website and look at it. So make sure that your URL works. You might want to cut and paste it into the web browser and make sure that you can get to it and open it. So that's by 11 p.m. on Friday night. Then over the weekend, take some time to visit and look through your group mates' ePortfolio sites. So just take a little bit of time and look at your group mates. They'll probably be looking at 2 or 3, depending on if you're a group of 3 or 4. And then by Sunday at 11 p.m., post your responses to the forum questions about your group mates' first drafts of their ePortfolio sites. Those questions are located in the forum conversation. So there's some questions listed there. Just answer them about each of your group mates' websites. So those are your online assignments this week. For next class on Tuesday, we're going to begin your next project. So just to prepare you for that next week a little bit, Project 2 is going to be a profile. Profiles are biological sketches that help readers gain a deeper understanding of someone. So the someone that you're going to be writing about is going to be someone related to your major, someone important or influential. That person may be influential to you because she or he led you to your major or influenced you in some way to choose it. Or that person can be a prominent figure in your field, like a professor, a researcher, or a professional working in the field, like a doctor or a manager, a CEO, or somebody. Your profile is going to give your readers a glimpse into this person's professional and personal life to understand how this person's experiences have affected him or her, and perhaps have led him or her to be interested and successful in his or her field. Just be sure that whoever you are thinking about profiling, that you have access to that person. So you can either contact them by phone or in person, because you're going to have to interview them, and you need to be able to do that over the phone or in person in the next week and a half. So you need to be able to get in touch with them in the next week and a half and either see them or call them. So to begin preparing for your next project, for our next face-to-face class next Tuesday, you will read the assigned excerpts from Chapter 5 and 15 in your Harbrace Guide. One chapter is about profiles, and I don't even ask you to read the whole chapter, just a part of it. And the other, Chapter 15, is the section I'm asking you to read is called Asking Questions, and it's about how to write and conduct interviews. So those are the 2 Harbrace Guide readings for next week. It's not a lot of reading, so please do it so that we can have good conversations on Tuesday. In Chapter 5, pay close attention to the 2 profiles. They're sample profiles. There are one's called Successes Speak Well for Debate Coach by Marissa Lagos, and the other one is called The Liberating Mind. It's by Matthew Glasgow. So as you read those sample profiles, try to figure out the questions that the writers asked in order to get the information from their interview subjects that they needed to write the essays. So, and then from Chapter 15, you'll get ideas about and suggestions for how to write interview questions. And you'll also get ideas from the interview preparation to reading on Sakai resources and readings. So there's a little handout also on Sakai that I want you to print out and bring to class. And it's about, again, conducting interviews. I also added, this isn't in the syllabus or course schedule, but I also added 2 short videos from the television news show 60 Minutes for you to watch. I labeled them Interview Preparation 1A and 1B. And 60 Minutes is a news show. It's a television news show that's known for its excellent and in-depth interviews of famous figures. And I found this great interview of Eminem, the rapper, by Anderson Cooper. You probably know he's a pretty famous interviewer, news anchor, news guy. And as you watch that video, it's not very long, maybe 12 minutes, pay attention to the questions that Anderson Cooper asks Eminem. How does Anderson Cooper elicit good responses from Eminem? Does he ask easy questions, tough questions? How does Eminem respond to those questions? How do you think Cooper got Eminem to talk about himself? So think about the interviewer who's actually conducting the interview, because that's going to be you. So see if you can get some tips from Anderson Cooper. Then watch the behind the scenes video to hear what it was like for Anderson Cooper to conduct that interview of Eminem. As you watch it, think about how you're going to handle interviewing a successful or important person relevant to your field. It may not be Eminem, but somebody important, and how are you going to get them to talk about themselves? What tips can you get from Anderson Cooper to take away from that video? So next week, bring to class on Tuesday an idea about who you want to profile, why this person needs to be profiled, and a list of 10 potential good questions to ask in the interview of this person. You want to try and have a point, some kind of purpose for conducting this interview, and you want to try and get that purpose met in your interview questions. But we'll talk more about interview questions next week. So you may also want to think about contacting that person soon to schedule the interview. You have 9 days after our next face-to-face class until your workshop draft of your profile is due. So, 9 days will go by pretty fast. So people are busy, so the sooner you schedule that interview, the better. And we'll talk more about how to schedule an interview in class. So to recap and to wrap up, your online assignments for this week are your instructor draft and that reviewer memo. Don't forget those 2 documents due Thursday night by 11 p.m. Upload them to Sakai Assignments. Then your forum discussion this week is based on your first ePortfolio draft. So upload the URL or web address to your first ePortfolio draft by Friday night at 11. And then make sure you look at your peers in your group, look at their ePortfolio drafts online, and have some responses to those drafts based on the questions in forum by Sunday night. And then next week's face-to-face class, we'll begin to work on Project 2, profiles. It's going fast here. So have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Email me if you have any questions.